When the Attorney General brought new charges against me, he took an hour-long video and he'd cut out a sentence in the middle. It took away the context and removed what happened before and what happened after. And then he'd put the charge that I had incited my followers to attack, harass and go after the defendants, the now convicted child rapists. Now, I was making an address. When you take the before and after, now, me and my defence team never expected me to be found guilty of this because it's a lie. But when you put the video in context and you watch the before and the after, I'm talking specifically to the media. I'm asking a question to the media. You follow me. You take photographs of me. You harass us, the people on our side of politics. You knock on our doors. You find out where we work. Why don't you do that to these men? These men are on bail for rape, prostitution and torture of children. Yeah? Why don't you follow them, see where they work, if they're working in chicken shops, which they work. Why don't you follow them? I'm asking a question to the media, okay? I'm not speaking to my followers. Watch the video, you can see it, okay? So that's the Attorney General lying, completely purposely misrepresenting what I was saying, completely changing context and snipping one line, okay? It's bad enough the Attorney General lies. So we never thought I could get convicted. Then I got found guilty. That means the judges, the two most senior judges in this country, completely ignored the evidence. We played the video that showed me talking to the media. I say, what are you going to put photos up and slander people and lie about people? I'm addressing the fake news media. Then the judge, in her summing up, has taken one line where she said, you have incited vigilantism by your followers to attack these men. It's just a lie. That's nowhere in the video. I'm talking to the media. So what have you got? You've got the most senior, you've got the Attorney General in the government, the most senior judge of the Queen's Bench, who are lying in court. The evidence says I didn't. The video shows and proves my innocence. Yeah, I've been convicted. Now why? They've had to find something to convict me on because they want me gone. They want me put into prison and they want me ultimately killed. And you must show this video to everyone. Nobody can watch that video and say that I was calling on my followers to incite vigilantism. No one. It's just not there. I'm specifically speaking to the media. Please share this everywhere so everyone understands the level of corruption in this country. A video that will go up today, which is an interview with the leader of the joint leader of Generation Identity, and I met him because the newspapers this week I read headlines that said Heil Hipster, like Heil Hitler. So I thought, who's this man? And then one of them said, meet the new chilling face of fascism. I've seen all these sort of headlines about myself, so I thought I'd bypass the prostitutes, the bullshit media. I'd sit down with the man himself and ask him some hard questions or some frank questions about what his views are on race, on religion, etc, etc. So I sat down and spoke to him, and that interview will go live. Yes, that interview will go up today. And I think it's important to give you the other side of the story, and rather than you base your opinion of somebody on what the media tell you about them, surely the media should have sat down with him and asked him the questions that I've asked him. You'd have thought so, wouldn't you? But of course they don't want you to listen to him. They don't want you to listen to anyone who speaks out against mass immigration or against the problems that this country faces. They want you to base your opinion and judge him on what they tell you to think. So yeah, that'll go live today. But when I first come to try and show people who these men were, bearing in mind they've been walking around your towns and cities for the last 2 years whilst this has been going on. They've been working in shops, chicken shops, probably driving taxis, etc, etc. I thought people should know their faces and their identities. And when I went last time, you can see the footage, you go online, watch it. They turned up with balaclavas, they tried to get physical, and they all hid their identities. But because they've been relaxed, do you know why they're relaxed? Because look, there's no media here. There's no media here, there's no press here, there's no mainstream media. They're all taking photographs of someone who said something mean on Twitter. They're not here to They're not here to find who these people are. They haven't followed these people. You know this lad who runs Generation Identity? I found out that the media had been harassing his family. Yeah? You want to harass someone's family? You see that man who was getting aggressive as he walked into court? The man who faces charges of child abduction, rape, prostitution. Harass him. Find him. Go knock on his door. Follow him. See where he works. See what he's doing. You want to stick pictures online and call people and slander people? How about you do it about them? Instead of doing it about someone speaking about them.
To 9 months in prison for contempt of court. Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, was found to have disrupted a criminal trial in Leeds. Lucy Manning reports.
Heading back to jail. Don't believe everything you read on a t-shirt. Stephen Yaxley Lennon wasn't convicted of journalism. He was found to have interfered with a trial, encouraging vigilante action against the defendants.
Do you regret interfering with justice and harassing people?
So today in court he was sentenced to 9 months in prison. He will be out in 2.5.
How are you feeling about your verdict? What verdict? How are you feeling about the verdict?
Last year outside Leeds Crown Court on a live social media broadcast he confronted men accused of sexual exploitation. There were strict temporary rules about reporting to make sure there was a fair trial, but he encouraged people watching to confront them.
Harass him. Find him. Go knock on his door. Follow him.
The judge told Stephen Yaxley Lennon that he had recklessly disobeyed a court order protecting the trial at Leeds Crown Court and had seriously risked the integrity of it, that he'd lied about what had happened there and sought to portray himself as the victim.
The sentence was greeted with anger and some violence by his supporters outside, who claim he was just doing what other journalists do when reporting court cases. The judges didn't agree and he was taken away to prison, his 9-month sentence reduced because of time he'd already spent in jail before his appeal. His supporters then marched to Westminster, and despite Mr Yaxley Lennon complaining he'd been imprisoned for journalism, they surrounded other journalists working there, abusing and threatening them. It's likely they'll see him released from prison in September. Lucy Manning, BBC News.
Let's turn now to the